Did you know that with one dough recipe you can make 4 different loaves of bread? What I want to teach you today is how to master the classic white tin loaf, because once you've understood the fundamentals, with the smallest of tweaks, you can make tiger bread, garlic dough balls, and a toasted fennel and rosemary bun. A tin loaf follows a classic ratio of ingredients. So we've got 500 grams of bread flour and then 350 grams of water, right? That's 70% hydration, which is a fantastic place to start for your tin loaf. Now we're going to add a little bit of butter just for some flavor, and then instant dry yeast. We don't need to activate it because it's instant, so we pour the water and the instant dry yeast in. The salt is already mixed through the flour, and by all means you can knead this by hand, but adding to a stand mixer, medium speed for about 5 to 7 minutes until the dough is smooth. Take it out and just shape it into a rough ball before proving it in an oil bowl for about an hour. Once it has proved, we're going to flip the dough out, smooth side down onto a very lightly floured surface and kind of press it down with our fingers into a rough A shape. Then fold the dough in on itself, creating a tight log shape. We're going to lift that into a bread tin and prove it again just until it reaches below the edge of the tin. Dust with some flour, slash it down the center and bake it. Once it has baked, just let it cool on a wire rack completely before slicing into it to make sure that crumb has fully set. Okay, so the tiger bread, this is the first adaptation of the tin loaf. All the ingredients are basically the same. We've got a little less yeast in here because we've portioned off a little bit of flour and water with a tiny bit of yeast, and we're going to mix those together to make a poolish. When you mix it together, you get this loose, wet kind of dough, and you leave that overnight for 12 hours, and you come back to this. This is what the poolish is going to look like. So it's going to be bubbly and fermented. It's going to add flavor and extensibility to your dough. Pour that onto the rest of your dough ingredients, and then just like the tin loaf, we're going to knead this until it's nice and smooth. Again, take that dough, we're going to place it into an oil bowl, prove it for an hour, and then we're going to use a slightly different stitching technique for this one, shaping it into a rough circle, then folding the bottom edge up, bringing each side just past the center, then rolling the dough in on itself into a tight log. That's going to go into a balancing basket to prove for, again, about an hour and a half. About 30 minutes before the tiger bread is ready to go in the oven, we're going to make the tiger topping. So we've got some yeast, water, rye flour, and salt. The dough will rise up really nicely in that balancing basket. We're going to flip it out onto a baking tray, and then we're going to spread our tiger paste all over the top, dust it with more flour, and then cook it in a nice hot oven. It's going to take 35 to 40 minutes until it's a deep golden color, and you want to get it straight onto a wire rack and cool it before we slice into it. Okay, now garlic bread, we're going to obviously need some lovely garlic, so we're going to do roasted garlic. A little bit of olive oil going onto our garlic cloves. We're going to wrap those up, then get them into the oven about 50 to 70 minutes. The dough itself is exactly the same as the tiger bread, so we've mixed the poolish together. That's been sitting overnight, it's nice and fermented, and then we're going to squeeze our roasted garlic into the dough and knead it until it's nice and smooth. Get that smooth garlic dough into a bowl and let that prove for an hour. Once this dough has proved, we're going to portion it. Now, I'm going to do slightly smaller buns, so I'm going to do 35-gram balls into small ring molds, but by all means, you could do about 45-gram balls for a larger tin and just roll those under your hand and then place them into your mold. The garlic dough balls have proved nicely now. We're going to add an egg wash over the top. It's going to give it a lovely